Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our third AI Pact webinar today. We are together in the studio of DigiConnect, and I have the pleasure, I'm Nathalie van der Stad. I'm in charge of communication and outreach at the AI office, and I have the pleasure to be today with my colleagues, two colleagues from the AI office, Irina Orsic, who is Head of Sector for Governance and Regulatory Policy, and Julia Carcinaga, Policy Officer at the AI Office in charge of AI literacy, among other things. Actually, today our webinar will be focused on AI literacy, meaning Article 4 of the AI Act, that you may know already very well. Not with us in the studio, but connected remotely, we also have the pleasure to have three guests today who will present actually the AI literacy practice that are already running in their companies. With us, we have Alessandro Bonaita, director at the Assicurazioni Generali, an insurance company from Italy. Welcome, Alessandro. Michael Croning, director at Open Sky Data System, IT service and consulting from Ireland. Welcome, Michael. And Efrem Gebru, senior manager, digital transformation at NNBW, an energy company from Germany. Many thanks to all to be here, and we will start without waiting anything with our webinar. So as you may know, this webinar is part of the AI Pact, and this is the third one that we are having, and it's to directly engage with stakeholders and support them in implementing the AI Act. This webinar will be structured in three parts. First, Irina and Julia will briefly present Article 4, that you can see on the screen now, of the AI Act, and how the AI Office is actually working on supporting this implementation, in particular via the gathering of ongoing practices of AI literacy. And they will tell us a bit more about how we have gathered these practices. Second, we will have our guests presenting their practices in their company. And finally, after the presentation, I will take some questions from Slido with the help of my colleague behind the screen, actually. So thanks a lot. And I'm starting immediately with Irina. Irina, could you walk us through the Article 4 of the AI Act? Explain us a bit how it works and what we can expect from it.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everybody. Yes, I will walk you through it. So, first of all, we have in Article 356 the definition of AI literacy. And AI literacy means like skills, knowledge, and understanding that allow basically everybody to make an informed deployment use of AI systems and to have awareness about the opportunities, that is very important, and the risks and possible harm AI can cause. Just really to emphasize that this is also about the opportunities. And if we can go to the next slide, please. So this is then Article 4, what currently everybody is talking about. You might know that it entered into application on the 2nd of February. So it is applicable now. There is a little but. The member states only will have to nominate what we call market surveillance authorities in the beginning of August. Which means that until then there can be a lot of private enforcement if people feel that something is going wrong, but the public enforcement will start later. And now I will explain you like public enforcement of what. So Article 4 is addressing all providers and deployers of AI systems. This also includes general purpose AI systems, so like a chatbot being used in a company. it does not include general purpose AI models. Then it is addressed to any organization that provides or uses any AI system. First glance, high risk in the terminology of the AI Act or not. And these organizations need to take measures to their best extent to ensure the literacy of their staff and of any other person dealing with AI systems. So staff is pretty clear, but who is any other person? So this refers to affected person. It can be a contractor, it can be a service provider, but it can also be a client. If you look into the AI Act for high-risk systems, you will also find transparency rules, so the obligation to provide instructions of use and rules for human oversight. This goes very much hand in hand with the AI literacy obligations. Then Article 4 also emphasizes that the notion of AI literacy might vary over time, might also vary according to the respective people you are dealing with. So this means that it's very important to look into the individual technical knowledge, experience, education, to look what kind of AI literacy, what kind of additional skills and knowledge is needed. And indeed, it is very much also in the context of the use of the AI system. And it will be over time also in the context of the development of AI. So we all know that what today is valid might be in 2 years some ancient history. So to comply with Article 4, organizations should first of all ensure a general understanding. This is pretty basic. And indeed here it also depends on the organization and the type of AI they're using or not using. Then we have the close consideration of the role AI plays in the organization. So am I providing tools? Am I developing them? Am I selling them? Or am I simply using them? Who is dealing with them? Like, is it employees that deal with, for example, systems that help writing texts? Or is it a machine? Or what is it? So this is very, very much context dependent. On that basis, it is important to consider the risk. What in that concrete situations do employees need to know? What do they need to be aware? And on that basis, I decide what kind of literacy measure I need. This is not like the overall super training program, but it's common sense. It is what organizations are doing now. Like when you're buying a dangerous machine, indeed people working on the machine are being trained. And this is the same about AI literacy, context dependent. And with that, I hand back to Natalie and Julia.
To me, thanks a lot, Irina. Many thanks for explaining it so well. And indeed, the AI office is actively working now on facilitating the implementation of the AI Act, including Article 4. As you said, it entered into application already the 2nd of February, so less than 1 month ago. And Julia, now you are working directly on this matter, AI literacy. You're very much in contact with the stakeholders, the companies working on this. Could you tell us a bit more on how the AI office is tackling this policy aspect of the AI Act? Many thanks.
Yes, thank you, Natalie. When it comes to AI literacy, as Irina was saying, there is not really one size fits all. And AI is a very fast evolving technology for which it's difficult to pin down everlasting definitions or standards also when it comes to AI literacy. In light of this, the AI office believes that it's important to tackle Article 4 on AI literacy with a certain degree of flexibility. So to implement or to support the implementation of Article 4 of the AI Act, first of all, we have organized back in December a workshop with our AI Pact pledgers, so who represent AI systems providers and deployers. And the aim of the workshop was to grasp already what kind of AI literacy needs, challenges, and also ongoing practice are there. Given the success of this workshop, especially in terms of the engagement of our AI Pact pledgers in sharing their practices, we decided then in a second step to open a survey to gather further practices from the AI Pact pledgers, further examples of AI literacy initiatives in these organizations. And the result of this more structural gathering is what was mentioned by you, Nathalie, at the beginning, the AI Living Repository that our audience can also see on the screen. I would like to stress, first of all, that this AI Living Repository and replicating the practices within it does not automatically presume compliance with Article 4. Rather, we see this living repository as a way of encouraging exchange and learning on the topic of AI literacy, especially in the context of Article 4. In fact, the AI literacy repository includes 15 practices from 15 different organizations of the AI Pact pledgers, from small to medium to large companies, working both in the private and in the public sector. Having implemented fully, partially rolled out, or also planned the initiatives that they describe. So this list of practices in the Living Repository is not exhaustive, of course, and we would like actually to continue nurturing this AI Living Repository with new practices from the AI Pact community, but also we're considering opening the survey to a wider audience. So if among our audience now there are some people who would like to share with us their practices, keep an eye open on our AI Pact website. Indeed, as you can also see on the screen, the Living Repository as of now include different practices of different types. So we have workshops using generative AI or virtual reality, we have boot camps, we have e-learning programs. We also see, and we will see in a moment with the presentations, different types of way of approaching the knowledge of employees that Irina was highlighting, and also different ways of considering the context in which the AI systems are used in the organizations and how these influence the AI literacy practice. Finally, we also see some practices focusing on the employees, but also going beyond on other persons, which Article 4 also mentions, from clients to other affected persons. So beyond these, so going forward, we would like to continue nurturing this AI Living Repository with new practices and also improving its readability. We would like to continue also learning from these practices and the diverse practices that I just mentioned, and foster a dialogue really around the topic of AI literacy and Article 4, for example, through other webinars or more content on our website.
Many thanks, Julia. Many thanks, Julia. Indeed. But before going further into digging in AI literacy practices, let's have also our guests presenting their practice, the practice that are actually running into their company. Before we go to our guests, I just wanted to highlight the fact that we received a lot of proposals from our AI Pact pledgers, actually 15 altogether. For a question of time and practical issues, we could not outline the 15 practices, that's for sure. But we really wanted to have 3 of them highlighting certain elements of the Article 4 of the AI Act. And so that's why we invited them, remotely. And I will start with Alessandro from Assicurazioni Generali, who could also walk us through the practices of his company. So Alessandro, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Let me start with a brief introduction to Generali Group, just to illustrate the complexity of our AI literacy program. We are one of the largest global providers of insurance and asset management, operating in over 50 countries with nearly 82,000 employees. And our journey with artificial intelligence began around a decade ago. And today, this technology is integrated across all the steps of our value chain with thousands of AI systems either deployed or developed by our central and local data science teams. This level of AI maturity has prompted us to make a clear and public commitment to the ethical use of AI, which was incorporated in our manifesto that we published in 2021, which outlines our responsible approach to this technology. And a key pillar of this commitment is the training and literacy of our workforce. In 2019, we started a global upskilling and reskilling program aimed at equipping all employees with the necessary skills to adopt new digital technologies in a responsible way. This initiative is supported by a global training platform called WeLearn, where our employees can access more than 100 internally developed training modules, as well as external resources. The training offerings are structured according to different levels of AI knowledge and usage. So there are basic online courses or short pills and events for all employees, intermediate courses for people who is interacted with AI systems in their daily work, and advanced training in hybrid classrooms for employees who are directly engaged in the development or maintenance of AI systems. Access to advanced courses require an assessment that considers each individual's current level of knowledge, and all these courses include real examples taken from our internal AI systems. In addition to these technical training programs for all employees, we have also established tailored programs for specific roles, which we call the new role schools, whose goal was to enhance AI competencies in already established roles such as actuaries, accountants, or CRM specialists, while also creating new technical positions such as data scientists and analytical business translators. These internal academies and in-house master's programs are co-developed in collaboration with external academic and research institutions, including the Data Science and Artificial Intelligence Institute of Trieste, the Italian city where Generali was founded nearly 2 centuries ago, and which we co-founded in 2021 to advance research and training initiatives in artificial intelligence.
Many thanks, Alessandro. Could you tell us a bit more about how this approach has been already beneficial to your organization, and also what have been the challenges that you have met so far?
Yes, I have to say that we consistently monitor the effects of our training initiatives by assessing specific KPIs such as enhancements in skills and career advancements for participants post-training. For instance, having over 5,000 employees engaged in STEAM fields, we found that 40% of those who attended our courses experienced a role change following their completion. Additionally, we introduced 18 new market services that were developed during these training workshops. And the high level of engagement among our staff, it's also demonstrated by the presence of more than 500 internal advocates who supported both our HR team and trainees during all the phases of the training process. From a qualitative point of view, our literacy program has played a crucial role in bolstering our digital transformation strategy, fostering a culture of innovation, but also, which which is really important, building trust in this artificial intelligence technology. However, implementing a global literacy program also presents several challenges. And the primary one is the necessity to continually update the technical contents to keep pace with the fast evolving field of AI. Alongside this, there is an ongoing requirement to effectively prioritize our initiatives in accordance with the training needs of our workforce, but also aligning them with our strategic goals. And to address this challenge, our literacy program undergoes an annual review process that begins with gathering training needs from our business units, which is then complemented by a top-down analysis of key trends and challenges in artificial intelligence to end up with an alignment with our group business strategy in order to prioritize the program's developments.
Many thanks, Alessandro. I will now pass the floor to Ephraim from ANBV. Ephraim, could you briefly walk us through the AI literacy practice in your company and explain us how your organization, actually applying these practices, does take into account the context in which AI systems are used?
Sure. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. My name is Ephraim Gebru, and I'm pleased to share how NBW leverages data and AI and how we build AI literacy across our organization. NBW has numerous applications in use along our tech value chain that enable us to operate both efficiently and innovatively. Through a secure, collaborative, and responsible handling of data and AI, we develop solutions that significantly contribute to shaping the energy landscape of tomorrow. For us, it's very important that there is a natural use of data and AI by all our employees, and is the foundation of our success. And at NBW, we are evidence-based. Decisions are already shaping the future. Through the consistent use of modern technologies, we contribute sustainably to the development of a forward-looking and secure energy future. But now let's focus on how we train our employees to use AI effectively. Our approach is divided into three key elements. The first one is the foundational training. So we offer a comprehensive introduction to data and AI designed for beginners. This training covers basic concepts, terminologies, and simple examples that help new learners feel comfortable and motivated to explore the world of AI. The second one are advanced trainings for experienced professional and decision makers. We provide specialized programs with deeper insights into AI and data-driven strategies. These sessions include practical case studies, advanced tools, and best practices, ensuring that participants can apply AI and data solutions in real-world situations. And the last one is innovative learning methods, where we use game-based approaches and interactive activities to make the learning process engaging and hands-on. These methods allow our participants in our organization to practice with data and AI tools in realistic scenarios, catering to different learning styles and making the experience memorable. Could you please skip 2 slides to the next slide?
Many thanks, Ephraim.
Perfect, thank you. On this slide, we highlight our training programs are applied in practice, ensuring that AI and data literacy is both relevant and impactful. The first one is a practical application program. This program focuses on the everyday use of data and AI. Employees learn how to integrate tools in their daily tasks, improving efficiency, decision-making by addressing real-life challenges. The second one is a strategic integration program, which is aimed at decision makers. This program demonstrates how to optimize data-driven processes and integrate AI into broader business strategies. By doing so, we strengthen our organizational culture and promote innovation at every level. We also have an expert development program. We actively train data and AI experts who can identify new opportunities for AI solutions. These experts lead projects, drive innovation, and mentor others within the organization. And game-based training through realistic story-driven exercises. Participants deepen their knowledge in a fun, interactive way. This approach makes complex AI concepts more accessible and boosts practical skills. And the last one, comprehensive e-training, our extensive online training curriculum ensures that all employees can continue to expand their knowledge at their own pace and adapting new challenges and emerging technologies. By combining these tailored programs with practical application, we ensure that AI is used effectively throughout our company.
Many thanks, Ephraim. Could you tell us a bit more about the impact of this AI literacy approach has so far on your company, Even BV?
Yeah. Now, let me explain the impact of our practice so far and how we monitor it, especially the implementation of our data and AI practices yielded significant qualitative and quantitative results. For the qualitative results, we have KPIs like we have observed high employee satisfaction demonstrated through regular surveys and feedback. Also, there's effective integration of acquired knowledge into everyday work practices, showing that our training is making a real difference. On the quantitative side, we have KPIs. We are seeing increasing number of participants in our training programs, and there's a marked improvement in data and AI competence as evidenced by standardized tests. And our ongoing performance monitoring enables us to continuously evaluate and refine our programs, ensuring that we maintain and build on these positive results over time.
Many thanks, Ephraim, again for the presentation. Through our presentations, we learned and we said that Article 4 applies also to other people than working on behalf of the providers or deployers. I would like to ask now Michael to explain us how Open Sky data system approach AI literacy and also with respect to other persons. So we have a problem of microphone. We're just fixing it.
Morning, everyone.
Good.
Hello from wet and windy Ireland. Quite usual here, I'm afraid. So I'm delighted to speak a little bit on how Open Sky data approaches AI literacy and also with respect to other persons, as mentioned. So as a software consulting organization of over 20 years, it's probably no surprise we already have formal programs in place for effective knowledge sharing through our systems. And this provides the perfect foundation for the integration of AI literacy. And this is with regard to our own employees, but also for us, our clients as well. So when it comes to interacting and handling AI systems responsibly and safely, we build this knowledge with 5 consecutive goals, which align with our formal change management approach. The first of those is awareness and desire. And this means educating employees about why AI is being adopted and how it will benefit the organization, and aligning these changes with personal and organizational goals. The second goal is knowledge and ability. So this means the structured learning paths we put in place, which are tailored to different roles within the company and or within the client itself, and providing hands-on opportunities to use AI technologies which underpin the ability to change. The next goal is reinforcement, which means regular feedback loops, ongoing training sessions, and mechanisms that recognize and reward AI-driven achievements, ensuring that AI literacy does not stagnate over time. The fourth goal is integration with the goals of the organization itself. And again, if this is internally in Open Sky, or it also would be meeting with senior stakeholders and clients to ensure that AI initiatives are clearly linked to organizational objectives and key results. This ensures a culture that not only understands, but also is able to effectively use AI. And finally, the final goal is managing resistance. And that involves identifying potential resistance. Many change programs, unfortunately, meet resistance all the time, and managing that proactively. It also involves highlighting the AI risks, such as ethics and bias, etc., and making it clear how our AI systems ensure responsible usage, transparency, and human oversight. Also, outside clients, Other persons that we also deal with could be subcontractors, for example. We would have subcontractors in our development teams, and it's really important that they are brought through formal AI literacy programs as well. So in Open Sky, what we have is mandatory training to cover aspects such as understanding the EU AI Act, data protection, ethical considerations, risk management, proper reporting, and so on. But also not only an understanding of the technical tool stack that we use, but how to follow our predefined development process to ensure safe AI. And for our clients, while we can't force mandatory training on their contractors, we do provide recommendations on minimum standards that they should follow. So that's Open Sky's approach to AI literacy.
Many thanks, Michael. Can I ask you also how you're planning to improve going forward in your approach to AI literacy in your company, Open Sky Data System?
Yes, of course. Yeah, we had 3 main areas over the next 12 months. The first of those is regular updates to the curriculum. So for us, AI literacy is a competitive imperative. And as a consulting organization which builds and applies AI systems, staying on top of advancements in AI is no surprise that that's really important to us. So expanding our working relationships with existing AI centres or research partners such as the Alan Turing Institute in the UK, or CEDAR, which is Ireland's European Digital Innovation Hub, among others, helps us to stay abreast of these changes and update our AI literacy curriculum as we move throughout the year. The second one is stakeholder engagement. So as a means to promote customer trust in AI, we have planned a series of education webinars throughout the year to both the public and health sectors, and that's with regard to the development of safe AI. Within stakeholders as well, as part of our CSR programs, we have plans for showcasing AI to young people in the local area. We have existing what we call summer skills programs, which are focused on 14 to 16-year-olds. These programs aim to educate young people on what AI is, what it isn't, the risks and the benefits. And finally, we are actively working on accreditation to ISO 42001 to align our to international best standards in AI governance and management. And there are plans for the coming year.
Many thanks, Michael. So we are done with our presentations now, and maybe a bit of a recap because we also have time now for questions and answers with our audience. So we have learned more about the Article 4, how it works within the AI Act, how the AI Office is actually working to implement and help companies and all stakeholders to understand and implement and apply this article that is already into application since less than a month. And we also have learned more about the AI literacy repository that we can find on our website, on AI Office website. And Julia also said very clearly that we are keen on receiving more practices and that we will continue to collect and gather them into this repository. And we have learned more about the practice, actual and practice from companies, from direct professionals applying this AI literacy practice, including how it works for other persons working on behalf of provider and deployer. I hope I have not forgotten anything, but we will have time now to take questions and answers. Maybe a quick word on the AI Pact that I could have said at the beginning. To date, we have more than 187 exactly AI Pact pledgers, and it's increasing every day actually, and we have more than 2,000 organizations part of the AI Pact webinars like this one today, for instance. So thanks a lot for your attention and also your interest into this initiative that is growing, and we will have more of these webinars in the weeks and months to come. So thanks a lot to all our presenters, speakers for the presentations. And now it's time to take questions from Slido. So I will take the first ones. And many thanks if you could also direct as far as possible, obviously, your question to one of our speakers, either the Commission or our guest. So the first question is, what should be the format for mandatory AI training in companies? A 1-2-day AI awareness session or tailored training on the specific AI technology? Maybe this is a question for our Commission's guests.
Should I start?
As you wish.
Okay, maybe you can have a first try. Just going back to what I was saying before, there is really no one size fits all, and as we have seen through the presentations of our speakers, and as also pointed out by Irina, going through Article 4, we need a bit of flexibility. And that's why the Commission or the AI Office so far has not imposed any specific training or any specific standard for that matter. The idea would be to have this living repository also to provide more knowledge of what is already out there and what could be maybe replicated or adapted to the different realities. Having said that, and maybe Irina will repeat that for sure. It is important to have an understanding of the AI Act and the AI systems within the organization, especially to those really affected by these. So this we have restated, and in terms of resources, we don't mandate anything. But I would like to stress that this webinar today, as well as webinars that we had in the AI Pact, are available online, are available on our AI Pact website. This could already be reused and rewatched by, for instance, employees of some of the organizations that are following us today. And there are also other EU resources online. For example, on the Digital Skills and Jobs platform, you find different resources and training and online courses on different technologies, but also on artificial intelligence. And finally, given that it was mentioned also by Michael, we have a network of European digital innovation hubs across Europe. And these hubs are really one-stop shops where SME or a public sector organization, but also a broader audience to some extent, can go to be assisted in the digitalization process. And also they offer services related to skills and trainings. And 80% of them actually focus specifically on AI. But yeah, I don't know if Irina maybe has something to add on that. Or
No, I think that was very comprehensive. Just to repeat, because this is key, there is no one-fits-all approach. So indeed, there are certain general awareness trainings, and this is something where there is quite a lot out there. There is quite a lot online. This is also what we are going to publish the list of. But on the specific use of AI systems in companies, it is very, very clear that one needs to look, what are we doing? Are there risks? Are there opportunities? What is it? What the people dealing with the system, but also subject to the system, need to know. And also the type of training, there is no one fits all. This can be like a simple session with an explanation. So it's not that it necessarily has to be a formalized training. What is important is that people know how they get there. There is all openness of this world.
Very good. Many thanks to both. We have a practical question actually about the repository, where to find it. You will also have useful contacts and useful links at the end of this webinar, but it's published on the AI Office website. It's available to all, and you can download it or read it online. So you will have this QR code appearing at the end of the webinar that will show you and guide you to the AI Office website. But now to go back to substance, I think it's also a question for you, colleagues. What does best effort company means? So meaning, are we expect as a company a difference in this assessment by national oversight authority. So the company are expecting to have a bit of clarity on this assessment by national oversight authorities. Does this question make sense to you?
No, I think best effort is really the individual assessment of the company, and then to find an appropriate reply to it, and which gets as close to being perfect as possible, but still also balancing the effort for it. And I said it before, since AI is extremely dynamic, it is not that every day I need to check everything to see whether I now need to update, but there's certain things I need to do regularly. But I think there is a lot of common sense in it, what companies anyway would do, also not to be liable, also for earning money, for a smooth organization of processes, to avoid any disturbance.
Many thanks. Julia, anything to add on this point?
No, I think Irina explained it quite well.
Many thanks. Okay, we have several questions on enforcement. So for instance, what enforcement action could an organization face if they are considered to not comply with Article 4? Is it something that Julia, Irina, you want to take?
You want to start?
Yes, it will very much depend on the national authorities, and it will also very much depend on what has happened. If something has happened, if it is a high-risk system, it will be very much also be linked to the question of was there sufficient human oversight, which is Article 14 of the AI Act, and were all the transparency instructions for use and so on requirements fulfilled. So it really depends on what is happening. Let's say if the night shop round the corner does not fulfill the obligation, it might be very, very different from if a company that really works with, does difficult and dangerous work with robots. So again, sorry, no one fits all.
Many thanks. Irina, Julian, it's fine?
Yeah.
We have a follow-up, sorry, on this question actually. In what part of Chapter 12 is this set out?
I can get now the AI Act. You're talking about the fines, I believe, and it is, you have in Article 12, you also have in the recyclers in general something about market surveillance authorities, national governments, so actually the national implementer looking into fines, looking into what are the consequences, which can also be other things. And then it's very much up to them what exactly they are going to do. You have a maximum, you have the fines there for certain problems, but not for all of them. So the fact that you have the list of fines being there does, when you look at para 1, not necessarily exclude that there can be other situations. What we are doing with the Commission, we are having the AI board where we are together with member states closely cooperating, and there indeed, but also once the market surveillance authorities are there, we are discussing this kind of issue, and we'll be discussing the different fines, how to coordinate, and also how to have a certain coherence in Europe where it is useful and needed.
Many thanks, Irina. So we still have time for questions, so don't hesitate to use our Slido and just ask the question. We can also have questions for our guests, of course. They are connected and they are with us, so they're happy to take any question. Another question is about who can offer AI trainings to SMEs and confirm the AI literacy of the respective participants. So bit more practical question. Maybe Julia, you want to take it.
Who can offer
AI trainings to SMEs and confirm the AI literacy of the respective participants?
I'm not sure I understand correctly the question, but maybe I can a bit restate the fact that we don't mandate specifically who can or which type of trainings should be delivered, because it really depends on various factors that were highlighted also during our presentation. But I would like to stress again, for instance, these European Digital Innovation Hubs, because actually they were really born to support our SMEs, which we all know it's the majority of our companies in the European Union. And maybe we can leave the link also after the webinar. We have a catalog online where you can see where these one-stop shops are located. And you can directly contact them to have support. And they specialized also on different sectors. They specialize on different technologies. As mentioned, most of them have an AI focus. And I think this is a very practical support that they deliver for small and medium-sized enterprises. And they have different services, so not just about trainings. They offer also other type of services, but these are specifically also addressed to the employees of SMEs and or public sector organizations. I know also they try to organize broader events, so this is also potentially awareness raising on their sides. So I hope this clarifies a bit of the question, but I don't know if you have something to add, Irina?
Yes, I have one thing to add, because the question was also touching upon certificates. Mm-hmm. And again, there will be a lot also at national level, there will be a lot coming, but we are not insisting on any certificates. So there is no need to show the certificate that whatever training has taken place. Indeed, when you do certain trainings, you will normally document it. You will also document it in your own interest, because if ever something happens, you can say, okay, listen, this was the training was provided. The only certificates we are having, again, is in the context of high risk, where we have the where a certificate is needed to pass the conformity assessment on human oversight, on transparency. But this is different from Article 4. On Article 4, no, you don't need to be certified. And actually, I'm also not aware whether there is something like a recognized certificate.
Many thanks to both. We will have questions for our guests, our external guests, I mean the three of them, but maybe quickly before Julia, how does the AI Office plan to support EU agencies in developing their AI literacy programs?
EU agencies. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, of course, Article 4 applies also to the public sector and to us in the Commission and the agencies. We have also a communication focus on really fostering actions to ensure that also AI systems that are used within the Commission are trustworthy. And within this framework, on our EU Learn platform, which is our e-learning platforms, there are accessible courses, trainings for employees of the European Commissions, and most probably these are accessible also for the agencies. These trainings are different, so some are more focused on managerial roles, other on general policy officers, some focus more on AI ethics or on some techniques of artificial intelligence.
Many thanks. I go now to our external speakers, our three guests, to ask, I mean, each of them, basically, we will give you the floor one after the other, to these questions. Which platform do you use for trainings? The first question. I mean, are they developed internally, these platforms, or externally And if external, which suppliers or system do you use? Who wants to start? Maybe Michael, because you're first in front of me in the list.
Absolutely, thank you. So in Open Sky, certain aspect of our training is internal, so it's based on our own internal collaboration platform. We develop our own material. This is important for us because, as mentioned earlier, we deal a lot with what was called other persons or clients. So our material is also surfaced to our clients as well as part of our project programs. When we look at training material for specific development expertise, we use a lot of Microsoft technology. So we use Microsoft Learn, which is free to us as a Microsoft partner. And that has a wealth of information and training on Microsoft technologies when it comes to developing AI, but also in terms of developing safe AI as well. So it's a mix of both. It's a Microsoft platform for technical training and also internal platform for everything that exists outside of that.
Many thanks, Michael. Ephraim, you want to take the floor?
Of course. For us, it's the same. We have both. We have as well internally produced content as well as providers where we partner with. So as mentioned before, we also believe that there is no one-size-fits-all solution, and we are searching for certain providers if we think there is the best content for the group we needed to address. So I would say it's both, and a lot of providers. So I think it's not necessary to name them all, but it's both really internally produced and externally with providers.
Many thanks. Alessandro.
Yes, we have an internal platform which cover all the level of training, but specifically for basic trainings which are targeting all the employees, giving a basic set of skills. We are both producing internal contents, so internal training courses, peers, and events, and we are also selecting external contents from selected partners. While for intermediate trainings, we develop these courses internally. For advanced training, which are digital classrooms, we collaborate with external providers which are specialized in training topics. While for our internal academies, the collaboration is more with academic research center, but the contents and the delivery of the program, it's always supervised both by our internal HR, but also by internal subject matter experts. So people that is directly involved in the development or usage or maintenance of AI systems, because we always want to give practical examples of how to apply this knowledge in our context.
Many thanks. I actually have another question for you, and a lot of interest for practical, practical organization within your companies. So another question, and I will take you in the same order, if you allow me. Which role did you establish in your organization in order to ensure AI literacy? Michael, please.
Sorry, could you just repeat the question?
I will repeat the question. Which roles did you establish in your organization in order to ensure AI literacy?
Okay, so in terms of the roles within the organization, so for us it probably comes in two sizes. One is internally, so the role of AI literacy sits within the people and culture department, and this is where all training programs in the company reside. So AI, it's a natural fit for AI literacy, and they would manage the completion of training programs across employees in Open Sky. When it comes to customers, this sits with what we would call the Digital Services Division, and this is the division in the company that goes out to customers, implements AI systems. Within that, they have a comprehensive change management program, and the AI literacy is integrated into that program to ensure that our customers understand the AI systems and the aspects of compliance and risk and safeguarding. So really, there's two roles to summarize: internally within people and culture, and externally facing through our Digital Services Division.
Many thanks, Michael. Ephraim, for you.
Yeah, we have set up a company-wide program for it to address all the needs in case of AI literacy to reach the cross and the entire organization. That's a specific circle who takes this responsibility and works closely with our HR office on this.
Very good. Alessandro, to conclude.
Yes, in our case, there is no specific role dedicated to AI literacy. Obviously, the general topic of training is under the responsibility of our HR department, but specifically this program is the combination of three areas: HR for delivering the training, the development, design and delivering of the training, the technical area to give support and indications regarding the key topic and trends to be addressed, and the business area to combine these elements with our group strategy in order to enhance certain topics which are more related to the strategic direction as identified by the group.
Many thanks to the three of you. We will be back to the studio now with questions again on enforcement, Irina. So the first question is, what do you mean with the fact that Article 4 is for private enforcement and for public enforcement in August 2025 this year? Please elaborate. I'm reading the question, but you got it.
Thank you. Public enforcement means that member states will have to nominate market surveillance authorities from 2nd August, which means that these authorities will on a national level be responsible for enforcing, for overlooking, for, if needed, fining, whatever it is. So there are some member states which are already on their way of nominating or just have nominated authorities, but for most of them it will really happen pretty tight 2nd August. When there is no enforcement authority to generally overlook this, indeed there is no public enforcement because there is simply nobody responsible. Private enforcement means that somebody, how would you say that? Like somebody feels that the organization did not follow the obligation from Article 4. For example, because that person believes that the person should have been trained, should have had certain information about the AI system which is used at their disposal. And in that case, I now say it very dramatically, I could go to the police and say, hello, my rights were violated. I could go to a law firm and say, okay, this was violated, I want to complain about this. So this is what we would call private enforcement, because it is somebody who's complaining about a lack of something and it is not an authority overlooking it.
Many thanks, Irina. And please bear with me because there is a series of questions for you coming up. So the next one is how do the AI literacy obligations apply to countries outside of the EU who are willing to provide services to EU-based countries?
That's an interesting one. Let me check the text actually to give me 1 second. You know that all the high risk provisions, so where again I did the link with Article 1314, also apply to companies outside the EU when they are providers of AI systems and when their systems are being used or the results of systems are being used. So there, for all the foreign, sounds good, for all these systems entering the EU market, indeed we have all the high risk obligations. Now, either you are having a company that provides something from outside, then indeed it is the company inside using a system that needs to take care of it, or you are having somebody who anyway has a seat in Europe, who is registered in Europe. Now, indeed, the interesting question remaining is what is if you're having services, AI-based services coming over. But there again, we are with everything which relates, for example, to chatbots and to AI-generated information. We are in Article 50 of the AI Act. Excuse me if I'm now getting too technical, but there are transparency requirements for that kind of systems. So, cut a long story short, when I am bringing something to Europe, I definitely need to think the AI literacy also in the light, as it is written in the recital, of the other obligations of the AI Act. If now I am a company somewhere in another country and I'm doing something with a purely national focus, which has absolutely no impact on what is happening in the European Union, I would say I believe that AI literacy is a brilliant idea and it's worth for everybody, but there would not be such an obligation.
Many thanks. Julia, any addition to that?
No, thank you.
Okay, we have another question for you, Irina. Obviously, you're very popular, and we have a very popular question. Does the company, a company whose employees are using ChatGPT, for example, writing advertisement text for or translating text, need to comply with the AI literacy requirement?
Absolutely. But that is probably a relatively easy one because we all know and there is a lot of information on the risks of ChatGPT. So indeed, and I think that's again in the interest of a company, before letting employees use these kinds of tools, you explain them everything about like hallucination, what can it get wrong, what is it I need to look after, what is it what I in particular need to control. But then also this again includes the benefits, because I also know that many employees are very reluctant to use it, and indeed it can very much help us. Yes.
Many thanks.
Yeah, no, maybe just that, as you can read in Article 4, it refers specifically on AI systems, so this means also general purpose AI systems, but per se it's not mention providers of GPI models. So, but I think Irina explained already these at the beginning.
Many thanks, perfect. So last question maybe on the legal aspects before we go back to the AI literacy repository, where we have questions as well. Irina, is there a list with concrete examples of what AI systems are in the sense of the EU AI Act and what not? So example, spam filters, driver assistance systems in cars, etc. Is this list existing, basically?
There is no such list existing, but you might know that last week, in the beginning of February, the Commission issued guidelines on the AI system definition. So that definitely brings, without incorporating a list, some clarity on what is an AI system and what not. To have a list with all the dynamics of development would be challenging, because probably you would need to overwork it very carefully every day. And this is why we went for the definition.
Many thanks, Irina. I will take a few more questions, because this is also the interest of this AI Pact webinar, is to take as many questions as possible from you, the audience. So, Julia, would you consider compiling a Q&A based on the questions that we are receiving through Slido? And we are also receiving a lot of questions on in the margin of these webinars. And would you, consider to put together a Q&A and answer to most of the questions?
Yes, I think what we were saying before, indeed, that we would like to continue providing information also through webinars or through our website. So potentially maybe having questions answered directly also on the website could provide further clarity. So we will consider that, yes. Thank you.
Very good. Many thanks. And a follow-up question, maybe, do you already have trainings on AI, or trainings you would recommend? Also, I guess our participant is asking that we will not recommend anything right now, because we are still working on this practice.
Exactly. I would say, I'm sorry to be boring and restate the same. So we're not specifically mandating anything. I think you will find also on the slide at the end of the webinar the link to the AI Pact website and the events that are already been conducted. And we can also add for sure some of the resources I mentioned before from the digital skills jobs platforms to the eddies, and the idea would be also to include more practices in the AI literacy. So potentially also there, if you read something that is of interest for your specific case, sometimes there is also the link, or it's possibility to maybe even contact per se the company of the AI Pact. If it's open to, we will see on the screen for sure our speakers. They would be happy to exchange. So. I hope this clarifies.
And actually, thanks a lot, Julia. And actually, before going back to our guest, because we have specific questions for Open Sky, I have another question for you, Irina. This is more like a legal question as well. Is there effectively an actual obligation in the AI Act to measure the level of knowledge of employees?
Employees. There is no obligation to measure knowledge in the technical meaning, but it's good to have an overview of the knowledge they are having, in particular when they're dealing the one or the other way with AI systems. But there is no complicated procedure.
Very good. Many thanks. To be very clear as well. So I have a question for you, Michael. So what specific skill career changes were observed in participants, and how did you measure the 40% change rate and isolate impact of literacy program? I hope you heard the question, a very specific one, but I think there is a lot of interest to know more about your practices in the organizations.
Okay, so if I understand the question correctly, it's about how we were measuring the impact of the literacy program we carried out. So, I'm going to answer this with an example about our clients. So, when we undergo a change management program and an AI literacy program with our clients when we're providing an AI system. As I spoke about earlier, an important part of that is the training which is partly AI literacy training for our customers about the AI system, basics of AI, and so on and so forth. So how we measure the impact of that is through surveys, and that's exactly how we would have done it regardless of whether it's a software system or an AI system. So we need to understand, has the knowledge been built up within the client staff who are going to use the system. So the survey is undertaken at the start with specific questions, and it's also undertaken at the end of the program as well. And so that's how we measure the effectiveness of the training program itself.
Many thanks. Back to the studio with a legal question. Irina, so AI literacy extends to other persons. We said it, acting on deployers and providers. We said it earlier, also with the examples of our guests. Should any service provider using AI have a contractual obligation to demonstrate AI literacy?
Sorry, the silence is explained by all types of situations I'm trying to imagine. So part of the question is, when dealing with AI, it would depend on the type of the AI system. Like if there is really risk inside, if it is a high-risk AI and this is being done on behalf or as a service provider for a company, yes. If there is somewhere, let's go back to the example of the spam filter, which was just mentioned, something involved, it really depends on the case.
Very good. I'm looking at my colleagues. I think I have exhausted the number of questions, unless, no, we have another question, and it will be the last one, I think. And as Julia said, we will also collect the questions, make sure that we can answer more in written. Is there effectively an actual obligation in the AI Act? No, that we did. We took it. So 18 is okay. it's Irina, you answered it. So I think we answered all the questions. So now it's time for me to thank everyone. Sorry, there is another question. So, you know, it's live. Huh? So someone is saying, I'm worried about our children. Is there AI literacy for parents, children, caregivers, or teachers? This is a more wider and obviously societal question. And maybe we can conclude with this one with our different guests. I don't know, Julia, you want to take the floor first?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. I think indeed it is very important to restate that today we are focusing, especially in Article 4, on AI literacy, which refers specifically to providers of AI systems and deployers of AI systems. So the context is very much related to the AI Act. But when it comes to AI literacy, as we understand also from the definition initially, it's way broader. No? It's something that AI is more and more in our lives. So of course, having an understanding of AI is something that is not just in the interest of complying with Article 4. It should be in the interest, hopefully, of many more persons. And I think especially young people, but also maybe elder people are included in this. So the AI Office has been dealing with this Article 4 and supporting the implementation, as I was saying before. But of course, we will try to foster the dialogue on AI literacy also more broadly when we can.
Many thanks, Julia. Irina, anything to add to this broader question?
Just to confirm that I also find that this is absolutely key. And if we look at different AI systems, for example, used for disinformation, if we are asking ourselves, the question is something real? Whom can I trust? It's absolutely key to have a general awareness. And this is really something which starts at the latest from school, where indeed parents, where everybody is asked. But if now we start telling people, we from Europe, like you need to explain this, that, this is not our mandate. This is a discussion we have. This is member states who need to do it. And this is something we can encourage. And we find it very important.
Many thanks. That will be the conclusion with a few words, logistic words from my side. But many thanks to all our participants, Irina, Julia, Ephraim, Alessandro, and Michael online, for your excellent contributions. This is obviously the first webinar on AI literacy and the first of a journey. We will continue. We will continue with this Q&A that we mentioned, and I think that would be very appreciated by the AI Pact and the wider audience that we had today. Today's webinar enabled us to progress. To make progress in our understanding of the Article 4. There is more to come, as we said. And we will continue also with this repository of AI literacy practice that is available on the website. Going forward, we will also go deeper in this topic and add other sessions that Julia and the colleagues around her are working on. And we will also offer more AI Pact webinars on the rest, the rest and other parts of the AI Act, obviously. This list of webinars are available online, and you can see now on the screen a QR code leading to the AI Pact events and also contact details, including from our guests today. So many thanks to all. I think it was very informative, educative, and indeed AI literacy is a big topic for the AI office, so we will continue working on it. And you can also see a satisfactory survey that you will see on your screen soon, I think, where you can fill out what you thought about this webinar and what you expect from the next ones. So don't hesitate to give us some feedback. And thanks again to all for your attentions and for your participations.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you to the audience.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Practice would have fit